Two major admissions changes at Rice University effective immediately. That is the topic of today's video. My name is Craig Meister. I'm a college admissions coach. You can learn more about me and how you can work with me one-on-one throughout the entire college admissions process on my website, which is collegemeister.com. And if you're interested in learning about whether or not you are or your student is on track for selective college admission, I encourage you to visit areyouontracktogetin.com. Again, that's areyouontracktogetin.com, at which you will complete a free 3-minute assessment. Your results will be emailed to you right away, and they will help you clarify whether or not you are or your student is on track for selective college admission in the United States of America. So it's summertime, it's June when this video is being cut, and what a time to announce that there are going to be some big changes, 2 big changes in fact, to the way in which you run your undergraduate admissions process, your first year application process for high school seniors for the upcoming admission cycle, meaning this is effective August 1st. It's effective immediately for the 24-25 admission cycle. What are these things that I'm referring to? Well, these things are 2 major admissions changes at Rice University. And here they are. Rice University announced 2 significant updates to admissions policies. The first introduces an early decision 2 plan, while the second modifies the test score policy for admissions applications. Both changes will be implemented for the fall 2024-2025 admission cycle. Quote, after listening to feedback from the college counseling community, Rice will offer students more flexibility in the application process through Early Decision 2. By allowing students the opportunity to submit their applications later in the cycle, those who may have missed the Early Decision 1 deadline will have additional time to polish their applications. It will also provide students who have only recently decided on Rice as their top choice school the ability to express a strong preference for and commitment to the university. Students who apply Early Decision 2 must submit their materials by January 4th, 2025, and they will receive an admissions decision by mid-February to be exact. The deadline for Early Decision 1 remains November 1st. Number 2 big change at Rice is as follows. Quote, also taking effect this fall as part of the admissions process, Rice will recommend, but not require, that students submit SAT or ACT scores with their applications. Like many universities, Rice has adopted a test optional policy, or had adopted a test optional policy in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Test scores are one factor of many that are considered in the admissions process, and students who are unable to submit test scores or prefer not to submit test scores will be given full consideration in the admissions selection process. Quote, at Rice, we have long held that testing, SAT, ACT, and APs provide meaningful insights into how students will perform in a Rice undergraduate curriculum beyond an assessment of high school grades alone, Romero da Silva said. Romero da Silva, in this context, is referring to Yvonne M. Romero da Silva, who is the vice president for enrollment at Rice. And she followed up by saying, we are therefore moving to recommend that students submit the testing they feel will showcase their strengths beyond simply having a test optional policy. So, my friends, this is a change or 2 to seriously consider as we approach the 24-25 admission cycle. You have to understand, Rice University's admissions rate for early decision applicants during the 23-24 admission cycle was roughly 15%. Their overall acceptance rate was in the 7s, but their regular decision acceptance rate was even below 7%. So, like a lot of elite schools like Penn, like Dartmouth, like Brown, like Duke, these are schools that have acceptance rates anywhere between double to triple for early decision than they do for regular decision. And with an introduction of Early Decision 2, you can expect that acceptance rate that you would have received from an Early Decision 2 application to Rice will be somewhere between the Early Decision 1 acceptance rate and the regular decision acceptance rate, Where it will fall in that spectrum, I cannot predict. Rice may not even know at this time. It will depend on, I guess, how many they accepted early decision during the 24-25 admission cycle, early decision 1, that is. That will help them determine how many they want to fill their slots with early decision 2 applicants, and the quality, of course, of the early decision 2 applicants. But regular decision is going to be the last attempt to get into Rice. In an increasingly selective admissions environment, you really do want to consider Rice University for early decision 1 or early decision 2 if it is at or near the top of your list. And it's a nice option to have. Tufts, Johns Hopkins, Emory, NYU. These are all other schools that are very selective that also offer early decision 2. And now Rice has joined that club of institutions with early decision 2. You should also know that in the 24 admission cycle, the one that just ended, the 23-24 admission cycle, 22% of accepted students at Rice apply test optionally. So that's pretty impressive number. And now Rice is basically saying at the start of the summer, basically, guess what? Gird yourself. Even though we didn't announce it to just now, if you are a rising high school senior, we'd like you to consider submitting your scores. We recommend it. That is the word being used. We recommend that you submit your scores. So that is inching ever so closer to the decision made by MIT in the past, and more recently Brown and Dartmouth and Yale and Harvard and next year Cornell and Stanford to basically become test required again. Carnegie Mellon has also gone sort of halfway there, like a sort of a Rice for computer science applicants in particular. So that the pendulum has now swung down into Texas. Of course, UT Austin testing is required. Obviously, it won't impact nearly as much the in-state public schools ranked students who are getting in through the top 6% program as it will impact the out-of-state students at UT Austin. But testing is back to being required in Texas at the main draw in Texas, which is UT Austin. But now at the elite private institution in Texas, Rice, we're basically inching toward being in a very test encouraged environment. Again, they're using the word recommended at this point. If you have strong test scores, submit the scores. And if you don't know if you have strong test scores, maybe you want to talk to your high school counselor or me. And we can talk about in the context of the rest of your application, whether or not you should or you should not submit your test scores to a school that has this type of policy that is still test optional, but recommended, like we see now at Rice University. In any case, it will be very interesting to see during the 24-25 admission cycle what percentage of students at Rice are accepted test optionally versus with their test scores. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to my channel. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one throughout the entire college admissions process, go to my website, which is collegemeister.com. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and most importantly, stay stress-free throughout the entire college admissions process.